Don't keep the a-holes at arm's length. Embrace them. But first, we have to figure out if they are indeed being a-holes or not. Cass has been on Reddit. Who's the a-hole this week?
Am I the a-hole for comparing my dad to my stepdad after he kept comparing me to my older brother? My dad was lecturing at me today, and most of it was about how I need to try harder at school and get better at grades. I already try hard at school. It's not like I'm slacking. I'm not as naturally smart, and to be honest, it pisses me off that he doesn't think I'm working hard. My dad kept comparing me to my older brother, Peter, who's currently a student at Yale. I hate it when he does this because it just makes me feel super dumb, and even if I spent all my waking time studying, I can't be like Peter. By the way, I've told my dad before that I hate being compared to Peter and asked him to please stop, and he said he would, and this was a few months ago. He hasn't. So I started comparing my dad to my stepdad, who I know my dad doesn't like. Saying things like how my stepdad makes a lot more money than him, takes us on fancy vacations, makes my mom a lot happier, is way more fun, and is way better dad.
Damn.
The last part.
That's digging in.
It is. He's going all in.
Wow.
The last part was an exaggeration. They're both great dads, and my stepdad is more of a buddy than a dad, but I wanted to get under his skin, and I knew this would do it. It made him really upset, and he told me to stop, but I kept pushing and said some more things to make him uncomfortable. I stopped when he started crying.
Oh.
I obviously feel bad for causing him distress, but I also feel like he was getting a taste of his own medicine and getting a sense of how it feels when he does that to me. Am I the a-hole?
Again, I think we can have situations where everybody's the a-hole.
Yeah.
It's a family of a-holes. The whole family tree is branch after branch of a-holes.
But if you have two a-holes, do they cancel each other out and then there's none?
I don't think it works like that.
I don't think it does.
No?
Yeah, no.
It's just still two?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this case, the two negatives don't make a positive. The two negatives just make more negative.
Got it.
I understand what he was trying to do.
I do too, and
That's for sure.
I don't blame him for doing it.
Yeah.
And like parents should know, like when you have multiple kids, they're all unique in their own ways. So to compare one child's intelligence or education to another, you're breeding insecurities and unfair competition, and it's the wrong thing to do because they're going to have strengths. One kid's strength could be another kid's weakness, and vice versa.
If that was my kids telling me that, I'd fake that cry. Just to make them feel better. I put my hands, do the shoulder thing up and down. Get out of here.
So obviously, I think he pushed it too far with some of the things he said, but hopefully his point got across.
Yeah, I don't think he's an a-hole in this situation. I mean, if you have genuinely tried to ask somebody to stop doing something, especially like comparison, because that's not a cool thing to do. And I think as the adult, the responsibility falls on you to know better. So if he went out his way one time to step from behind his piano and give him a little taste of his own medicine just to teach him a lesson, I don't think he was wrong for that.
I think maybe because I'm getting older now, when I think I realized that there are long-term ramifications and short-term ramifications when you do stuff like this, right? So in the moment, it feels good to strike back at somebody, right? Give them a taste of their own medicine. But it's always made me feel so lousy in the long run, man, that I just don't do it anymore. You know? It takes a piece of your soul away when you purposely hurt somebody like that.
But what are you supposed to do when you've asked them to stop? It's not like he didn't go through the appropriate avenues and have a conversation about it, and his dad continued to do it. I think he took it a little too far, but I don't think he's the a-hole. Don't dish it out if you can't take it back, especially after someone has come to you and said, hey, I don't like this. It doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
And then dad kept doing it.
Over and over and over again. How would your dads handle this? Yeah, you're probably the one most connected to this, right? Give a little history here of your family.
Yeah, so that's true. I didn't think about that. But when I was a kid, my father and I didn't have the greatest relationship at all because of a lot of the things that went on in the household. And so we didn't speak for years. And then my dad came into my life as my stepdad and kind of took over that role. And then today he's like my dad. I don't look at him as a stepdad at all. So I grew up in a split household for sure. I wouldn't have tried this with my dad though. No, not my dad. No, I wouldn't have been speaking much more after this conversation if I spoke to my dad in that manner. But I wouldn't have handled it like that. But I didn't have this issue. My dad is not that kind of guy to compare me and handle things that way. But I do understand how that can be frustrating when you're in a split home and you feel like you have to compete with other siblings who have different situations than you. So I get it. But I wouldn't have handled it like that.
And after you said all those things, if at the end you're just like, okay, I didn't mean any of that stuff, but now do you understand how it feels when you're constantly comparing me to my brother?
Yeah.
Like, this is the point I was trying to get across. And then if you want to be like, try to be the bigger person and be like, listen, I apologize for everything I said, but now does it make you realize that maybe you should apologize to me for all the comparisons you've done with me and my brother?
Maybe it'll be effective in the long run. They had to get through this crap to get to them to really stop doing this.
Is there an update on this particular Reddit, Cass?
There's no update, but he's pretty overwhelmingly not the a-hole.
Got it.
Okay, got it.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched, you can get more of The Bert Show on your favorite podcast platform. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. I don't know what any of these buttons do, by the way.